Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/EntitledKarens. In today's episode, neighbor's son gets Memorial Day revenge. Don't piss off the night auditor. My cousin is bad *SS when dealing with an entitled Karen. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Neighbor's son gets Memorial Day revenge. Neighbor's son, Garth, graduated college about this time last year and got his first full-time career job at a company. He's in the IT department of a branch office and does IT things. Total number of employees at this office is around 20. Some are sales, some work in the office. Karen is the office manager. When Garth first started, there were 3 IT people. They had an office in the basement away from the rest of the employees. This suited Garth just fine. He's a quiet, introverted young man. Highly intelligent, but he's not a social person. Would rather spend his time off gaming than live interaction. As you can imagine, he's not a big kid, maybe $1.50 after eating a big steak for dinner. The other 2 IT people eventually move on to other jobs and corporate doesn't replace them. Now Garth has 3 times the work without receiving a raise. Garth voices his concerns to Karen about workload and callouts, and he gets the standard feeble corporate responses and condescending lecture. I don't know why he didn't quit then, but he stuck it out hoping to eventually be recognized for his worth, etc. Whenever I spoke with him, he'd say how bad it was working for Karen, but his saving grace was he was in his solitary office most of the day and did not have to have much contact with her. Until one day back in February. He got a phone call from Karen telling him to come upstairs. Upon arriving, he's directed to start moving furniture around. Garth takes a look around and tells Karen his job does not call for moving heavy objects. Karen gets loud and calls his manhood into question in front of everyone, but Garth does not budge. Life changed for Garth after that. Karen had decided to make work miserable for him. She started repeatedly writing him up for whatever she could think up. Here comes the petty revenge. Garth starts snooping and discovers that Karen is having an affair with a married coworker. Their work phones are synced up to the computer system, which Garth has access to. Garth has created a mass corporate email with various screenshots of the sexting. He rigged it to be sent out today from her own email account. The beauty of it all, Garth walked in Friday and tendered his resignation to corporate HR. He left his ID card and whatever else on Karen's desk. Karen made a big deal of shouting to Garth as he was leaving to not let the door hit him in the ass on the way out. When the email is sent out, they may well suspect that Garth was the perpetrator, but they'll never be able to prove it. I can only hope Garth's revenge is sweet and spectacular. Party on, Garth. They now have no IT people. No one to figure out anything. That Karen is an absolute fool to think an office could run this way. She probably can't clear a jam in the printer, much less troubleshoot why the network isn't seeing one of the office computers. This revenge is going to go on for a while. Awesome. And no one to train up their replacement IT person, which is going to make it drag on even longer. Every company has systems with quirks that you need to know your way around, and it takes a lot of exposure and training to get a person acclimated to a new environment for effective support. By the way, any IT decent system has audit trials of what was accessed. Unless the IT system used shared logins, they can pull the logs and see who accessed what. Also, who sexts on work phones? That's asking to get fired. Assuming Garth knows what he is doing, he could leave tracks that only point to Karen. There's no trace if he did it from Karen's terminal, not like Karens lock their computers when they're away from their desks. Not to mention the IT guy would likely have a Karen's password anyway, since she's probably the type who'd forget it 101 times and he had to reset it over and over. Even better, she probably has her password written on a sticker under her keyboard. It never fails to amaze me how some people treat their support staff. Lesson here is never screw with IT. Anyone with two connected brain cells knows to never mess with IT. Obviously, that Karen doesn't have two connected brain cells, as she and everyone else there will find out sometime over the weekend. If the company has a no fraternizing rule, Garth's petty revenge could possibly turn into nuclear revenge. Either way, Garth justifiably humiliated Karen. Is it too late to be CC'd on that email? I want to watch the fallout. TLDL at the beginning is a new one for me. Is this a new too long, don't read acronym? Don't piss off the night auditor. Dear, this is a tale where the customer might be half right, but because Karens have a big mouth and no manners, they ended up trying to find a room at 2 a.m. because they couldn't shut up. Today is my Friday. 2 days to be lazy and play War Tales. But before I do that, I will tell you what happened last night. Haven't had to do this for a while now, actually, but as it's getting busier and the summer is approaching, I imagine it will happen more often. I get in tonight, 2 reservations left, and do the Passover with my coworker. One of the reservations called them about 5 p.m. and said they would be in about 11 p.m. It's now 11 p.m. Now, my 3 to 11 person had not authorized credit cards when the guest called at 5, so they didn't know the card had declined when they talked to the guest. This will become an issue. So, 11 p.m. passes, 12, 1, 1:45. Okay. I've got to start my night audit and get things done. The night audit here doesn't take long, but I can't have any reservations pending before I do it. If the card is declined, we cancel that reservation. If the card authorizes, we check it into the system before audit, and if they no-show, we check it out in the morning. So, there, according to the registration card, for night stay is cancelled. A little after 2 a.m. and in walk 2 women. Now, the reservation is under a man's name and a man's rewards number. But he isn't here. So, someone trying to get points when they shouldn't. But whatever. Karen comes in starting with an attitude. I told her we had to cancel the reservation because the card declined and it was 3 hours past when she said, and I couldn't wait any longer to do my work. But, I said I could rebuild the reservation for her. It would just take a couple minutes, please go ahead and sit down. Before sitting down, she starts ranting how they told us they were going to pay with a different card when they got here, and somehow we screwed her at the car rental place because we ran the card on file. Now, this makes no sense, because we did not authorize the card on file, because it declined. So whatever her financial issues were, we were not the cause of them. And, just an FYI for all you guest lurkers here, you don't tell a hotel you are going to pay with a different card when you arrive, you call and give them the correct card if you have to change it. Especially if the first one is no good, because that means your reservation is not guaranteed and things like what happened to this woman can happen. Anyway, the Karen and her mother sat for a bit, and when I was ready, I called the mother up, because mom was going to pay for the room, because Karen apparently doesn't have a valid card or no money. Same difference. I go to run the mom's card, and it declines. Karen pops up off the couch and starts yelling about how that's impossible, blah blah blah, further annoying yours truly. I let them know I was trying to authorize X amount for 4 nights. OMG, you would have thought I said I was going to piss on their children. That's so wrong. We told them, who is them, that we didn't need it for 4 nights. We just needed it for 1. Okay. Well, I can't know that because you didn't say anything before. B, the registration card says 4 and C, the original reservation was cancelled, so I was rebuilding from the reg card. And all of that is really not a big deal, because I can change things to 1 night and run the card again. But no, dear readers and unicorn readers, Karen continued to piss me off, raising her voice, complaining about what a terrible experience this is and a few other snide comments before saying something like, I'm of the mind to just get a room somewhere else. Very poor choice of words. So I give the mom's card back and tell her she can go ahead and find another place to stay. Argument ensues. She says she's going to call the cops. We have the right to refuse service, so they aren't going to do anything. Give me a piece of paper with your name and your supervisor. I don't take orders from you. No. I'm not leaving until you give me the customer service number. Yes, you are. And lower your voice. So Karen and Mother left the place a few minutes later, off into the night with a big whiff of instant karma in their nose, but I am absolutely sure that Karen learned absolutely nothing from the experience. I am absolutely secure in my job here, so I don't care if they complain to corporate or the GM. I'll just tell them I was done putting up with this rude lady and refused service. And that will be the end of it. And I hope she has a shitty day today and is mad all week. Get wrecked, Karen. And don't piss off the person trying to help you. This was handled brilliantly. Some people are looking for a reason to be mad. She got what was coming to her. I'm of the mind to just get a room somewhere else. Very poor choice of words. Ha! Love it. Same thing happened to me Friday night. Guest threatened not to stay 2 nights after giving me a ton of shit. I'd leave this motel and go somewhere else if only I could get a refund for the second night, which I'm sure is impossible. He whined. No problem, sir. I quickly issued a refund for the second night and brought the receipt out to him and cheerfully reminded him to be out by 11 a.m. He was speechless. I know he regretted those words. Bonus points if it is a concert weekend and every hotel for 35 kilometers is booked and has been for 6 months, lol. Whole thing seems pretty shady if you ask me. Giving them the benefit of at least a little doubt, it's possible their cards had a travel hold placed on them. Card issuers sees the card being used somewhere it's not normally used, they lock it just in case it's fraudulent. Quick call to the customer service number and it's good to go. Sounds like they should have been nicer then. Did the mother do or say anything while her daughter rambled on? How embarrassing. Actually, her mom was looking right at her while she was yelling and saying her name to try and calm her down. I didn't have a problem with the mom. She seemed nice. But she did raise her daughter, so. This is the way. Karens worldwide must be taught that their bullshit is not acceptable. Their issues with finances are not your problem. On top of that, they had stated a time beyond their contracted time to check in and even failed that by hours. You are NTA and hold no responsibility to fix anything for them. A quote I learned on this sub. Your lack of planning is not my emergency. Whomever is the original source of this quote, please take the credit. I use this all the time, so far, just in the back away from the guest, lol. My cousin is bad *SS when dealing with an entitled Karen. Amber is one of my many cousins, and she's got quick wit and sarcasm like no other. When we hang out, not even my friends mess with her because they know she can tear anyone a new one, if you know what I mean. Amber always gets me laughing and surprises me with her sarcasm and wittiness. Before the coronavirus outbreak, it was one of those take your kids to work days, and Amber's mom, my Aunt Carol, took Amber to work with her. Aunt Carol owns and manages a family-owned store and was introducing Amber to customer service before showing her what it's like to manage a place, so when Amber gets older, she can decide if she wants to be a customer service assistant or something else entirely. Enter Amber with the quick wit when an entitled Karen comes over to one of the cashiers and demands free gift cards because nothing in the store is good enough and wants something to actually use when coming back to the *TTY store. When the Karen demanded to speak to Aunt Carol about the subpar merchandise, my aunt explained she doesn't give out free gift cards, especially to rude customers who insult her employees, who are doing their job and making honest money. Amber later told me that Karen had one of those squeaky, high-pitched voices that got higher the angrier she got. The Karen was middle-aged, but she sounded like a preteen boy whose voice just broke. When the woman demanded more free stuff, Amber was furious with the Karen, who was now insulting her mom. Aunt Carol is the kindest person you'll ever meet, and Amber is fiercely protective of her. Amber's a tiny firecracker, and this was when she launched, and I'd have paid good money to watch her tear this Karen a new one. Ma'am, they say with age comes maturity, but with you, I really think it missed the mark. No one with your helium voice should be subjected to dealing with you on any normal day, weekday or otherwise, so either buy stuff and leave, or just get the heck out now, okay? Amber said this word for word, and I died laughing when she told me. The entitled Karen was fuming, and she demanded the small employee who didn't know her F***king place be fired. My Aunt Carol said, "This is my daughter. She doesn't work here. I can't fire her. I wouldn't fire her for this, either. She doesn't tolerate bullies, and a bully is what you are. Please leave now, ma'am." The Karen was fuming but left, and right after, Amber texted me the whole story. Freaking hilarious. I don't think that entitled Karen will be going to my Aunt Carol's store anytime soon. Freaking bad *SS Amber. You rock, little cousin, and deserve a raise for that quick wit comment. So, this Karen was demanding free gift cards to buy things she didn't like at a store she thought was subpar. Karens. That was precisely what I was thinking. I'd have pointed that out to Karen just to see her face and how she tried justifying the logic behind her request. LOL. Like that old joke, the food is terrible and the portions are too small. Amber's a redhead, isn't she? As a redhead, I was thinking the same. Read this to another redhead mate. She said if they aren't a redhead, they were raised near one. She has to a ginger, cause Dunn snapped on the Karen. We need more Ambers in this world. Need a new term for handling Karens. She went full Amber on that Karen. I'm an older woman who hasn't worked in years due to many circumstances, including cancer. I want to get a part-time job now. My husband doesn't care if I work or not. I will feel free to not put up with that shit because I don't have to. I will be like Amber. I know I am lucky to be able to do that. Experience has shown me that once you get to a certain age and have seen some SHT, you don't have many FKS to give. I hope you continue to stay well, lovely. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.